Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Model and a Movie with my co-host, Brian Clark. Brian, how are you, sir?
I'm well, my friend, and you?
I am well as well.
Oh, well. And Well's doing well too, from what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
well is doing well. We are recording a little bit early than we normally would, but you're going to see this at the normal time. So people who missed out entering for our giveaway that we're going to do here in a couple of minutes, we had to close it a little bit early. The reason we're doing that a little early is why, Brian?
Well, there's two reasons. You're going to Buffalo to enjoy trinkets and gadgets and
Yes,
what
I'll
that's.
have a report when I get back on the main.
And I have to have a surgical procedure done on my left elbow, which is going to limit uh, my modeling and stuff in general for about a
Yeah,
month. Nothing major, just you know the entire story, but I had an accident in college and hurt my
I
arm
know
pretty
the
bad.
story, but I don't think everyone else.
Yeah, well, I don't really talk about too much, but I had an accident. I almost lost my arm in an accident. But over the years, I've had issues with the tendons and um, ligaments and stuff because of it. And as a result, every so often I have to go under the knife, so to speak, and have them clean up my youthful indiscretion, so to speak, so I can get back to good.
Was it a
But
running from the cops story?
no, it was a hey, we're bored, let's play football on a Saturday afternoon story. So,
Of
which I
course.
don't play football. I'm not a football player as big as everyone thinks I played football because I look like I played football, but I'm not. I'm just a
Yeah.
fat guy. Back then I was skinny. So, uh, but
Oh
yeah,
man.
so it's and it's weird. They're gonna scrape the tendon and get rid of scar tissue.
Ugh. That
But the
sounds
good thing,
enjoyable.
it's gonna be awesome because I get to be awake the entire time. So I have that going for
Ah. Wait, what? Why aren't they
yeah.
knocking you out?
It's a local thing. It's he said I won't even need stitches. It's going to be so small. It won't even be. It'll be a band-aid, and I'm out the door. So I'm planning on maybe taking my phone and headphones and my Bose headphones. Just do anything I can to be somewhere else in my head, so I'm not paying attention to what's going on.
Man, that's ugh.
It's all right.
It's like the brain surgeries when people have to be awake for the brain surgeries so they can tap on your head and
Right.
you can tell them what change, what feels.
Oh,
Oh,
look at that! You're rolling. That's what you should be doing.
oh my god.
So I
Well,
got
good luck with that. I hope it goes well. And
appreciate it, and it will. It's not. It's just I don't know how they're scraping scar tissue somehow. I don't know
yeah,
how,
I think the
but
recovery will be worse than what that day probably. So good luck. I
that's what
hope
it
it.
said.
You know.
But four weeks of physical therapy, which isn't bad. I've been 9 months at one point, so 4 weeks is nothing.
Good.
I can
All
do it.
right. We have our giveaway. So Brian, who we have
Yes,
a giveaway from? You hook this up and I'll get the wheel going. Ready to go.
typhoonpainting.com, the company that made my. You can hear it there. I think maybe my paint mixer, and they make racks and other assorted goodies, and he sent them to me, and hopefully you'll follow the directions better than I did, and you'll make yours so that it'll actually hold all of them instead of
Do people need to glue it? Is that a suggest? Like, should they throw some wood glue
um,
in there?
probably. I used super glue,
Okay.
and if I wouldn't have, I'd have been able to fix it. Put it this way: before you glue it, make sure it's lined up the right way because I do.
I have put those together too, and they are a bit tricky. Not those exact ones, but other wood shelves.
Yeah,
And I didn't wood glue them, and then I had to go back and redo everything and glue it because it kept like the side kept falling off.
yeah.
So
That's I have some that actually have they're over here. I can't pick them up, but little rubber bands that go around the edges and hold them in place too. So I have
okay,
that, which is cool. But yeah, and hey, these are cool little things, and the guy was nice enough to send them to us, and so hopefully someone will enjoy them.
excellent. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. I'm going to spin it for the first time. This one is for the dropper bottles. I couldn't. I thought someone wanted the Tamiya ones by themselves, but I couldn't find that one. So if I miss someone's name, I am sorry. We'll get it worked out. But we're going to pull for the dropper bottles first, and then the second one will be for the Tamiya ones. And if you win those and you didn't want those, you can still fit, I think, other things in there like These size bottles will fit in the Tamiya ones, Tamiya. Other ones, so you'll find a use for them. We're hobbyists.
Yeah.
You'll find something to stick in there, I'm sure. And that's it. So plug the guy one more time and thank you. And
typhoonpainting.com.
And we'll put the link down below as well. So spinning, shuffling, and spinning. Shuffle, 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 spinning. And the winner is for the dropper bottles will be Scott Lookabill. Scott Lookabill.
Oh, Lookabill.
Yay, Scott. All right, so he gets the dropper bottles.
So droppers are I'm writing it down.
Okay, and I'm gonna remove him. Wait. All right, shuffling, spinning. And I think I found a problem with the wheel. We'll see if it happens this time. No, it didn't. Okay. Barry Gordon is the winner of the Tamiya size ones. Tamiya size. I have to get that straight one of these days. All right, removing.
There we go.
And
Congrats,
then I'm going to throw something from my purse.
Oh, what?
I had made this, and I have an extra one. This one fits dropper bottles.
Cool.
So I will ship this one out to whoever wins this one. Shuffling and spinning. And the winner is Hobby Mike. Hobby Mike, if you want these, let me know. I know you have a ton of stuff, but if you want these,
the
one guy who probably could do it himself. I know. Mike, if you want these, they're yours. Oh God, what an anticlimax!
Because I'm going to talk about. He sent me. I got a box from him, so I got. Yeah.
Cool. All right, back to the regular screen. All right, what are you working on, and what did you get?
Well, I'm not working on too much. I did finish up finally the last of the black heart things. There we go.
Nice.
And
she looks so thrilled.
I think anyone that
I
has
love those real chains. That's cool.
Yeah, they give you chains and things. And then this little guy here from our buddy on Model Club TV.
Scott
sent this to me. So I got that
little Daffy. Uh-oh.
No.
Am I catchy? Did you drop it?
No, it's not glued. Right. I didn't have the base glued in. And for a buddy of mine, I've been working on at the Discord, as everyone's been seeing the was this Tinkerbell?
Tinkerbell, so, yeah. I think you were working on that the last time. I had just started working on it.
It's not showing up here, but it's really dark with highlighted green for a dry brushing.
Okay. Any problems with the kit so far that you've run into? Difficulties?
It's not an easy kit. It's really not, because of the just the positioning. So you have to like paint. Where is that other leg? Paint the all the stuff, and then this leg goes in here. And she's kind of kneeling on.
Is the fit like the joint around? Is it you don't have to putty it after you paint it, or is it pretty good? Nice.
It's
pretty good.
Good. And honestly, I'm not going to putty it because it's on the back side. You're not even going to see.
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty good fit. It's just it's not an easy kit to paint. It's slow going because there's the scissors, there's all the stuff that I showed you before, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but I did get a bunch of junk in the mail. We'll call it junk because that's what my wife calls it. For the addition, I got the new tank. So I got last time, I got the Sherman, right? So now I got the Tiger 1.
Oh my God. Those are not boxes you can easily sneak in the house if you need to sneak.
The look on the delivery man's face when he was bringing this up the driveway was one of pure hatred. So this is not a small kit, and I don't even know how many parts there are. 16,000, I think. I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Who makes that? What is that?
Andy's Hobby Headquarters. Wow. It's a hobby and he's just gotten into the business with Capcom to
Okay.
make the. Here
Okay.
you go. There's Alba.
That's some sprues.
Yeah. And I haven't even looked in it. Let's see, because I showed you last time the base of the Sherman. Dude, what am I getting? This thing
The
is
base for it, you're gonna have to put it on a thing that's what, like 4x3.
this thing is a good foot. I bet it's over a foot long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna move out now before my wife gets back from her vacation. And
Put a blanket over it, throw some flowers on top, pretend it's a new table.
you could, I'm putting in the backyard and put planters on it. Escape Hatch Hobbies.
Escape hatch.
Got their Nosferatu figure.
Nice.
It's good, big man. It's nice.
That's nice.
It's one of those kits I've wanted. I like Nosferatu. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I like this version of this is the 79 version, I think.
Okay. The Kinski.
Kinski, yeah. So, but look at that. Look how that's a
Who
great
is
work.
that? Rainer Engel. Whose is that? You know who sculpted it by chance?
You're asking the
I'll look
wrong
it up
guy.
later.
It's the other fat guy that you have a show with. And I also got their Kong.
I like the pink resin.
Yeah, when I opened, I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. But yeah, they're King Kong, and I got the one.
Cool.
There's 3 different versions of this. You can get this with the base, this with an add-on base with Fay Ray on it, and this with the there's a King Kong like skull type thing.
Uh-huh.
And that's the one I got. I was like, the it's cool. It's like
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It's nice.
like Odom or something. Oh.
It got carvings into the skull?
Yeah.
Like the Tibet like skull carving thing? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Really
I
cool.
love that.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to do it to look like a skull or paint or like wood, like paint, like just different colors, freaky. I don't know. Because you could do whatever the heck you want with that.
Yeah, I would suggest looking up skull carvings because there's a way that they patina those to make them look kind of different.
And then one more I'll show. I had more, but they're for gifts, and I don't want to put them on here because, believe it or not, some of my family might actually watch this. So
that doesn't happen over here.
Yeah, my daughter does, but I don't think my wife does. From Hobby Mike, ironically, as I was saying, little
some Bruce Willis action. Hey, that's a good likeness,
isn't it? That's what I thought too. That is phenomenal.
That is really, really nice.
Welcome to the party,
and it goes along with your quote from the movie or the contest. And
which
for those people that don't know, Bruce Willis is not doing very well. Man, it's pretty bad. So like to kind of celebrate his career as an actor, and man, I feel bad. It's just one of those
I've heard
life sucks kind of thing.
A prickly guy, but I don't care how prickly you are. Nobody deserves has coming down his way. So
yeah,
it's gonna be rough. Because basically, like, from my understanding of what I've read, it's like you lose the ability to communicate from what he has, and life is communication. That's just
and it kind of makes sense what his career turned into now, like for a while, because he was just cranking out movie after movie after movie, and it turns out he was trying to just bank as much money as he could.
Yeah.
And I think he was wearing an earpiece for a lot of it too, because people would tell him what to say, and so he could say it because he couldn't remember. It's just, I mean, heart goes out to his family. That's a tough thing. So
dementia sucks, dude.
Yeah, it really does.
It's not just dementia. He's got something.
He's got I forget what it is, but it's like dementia plus.
Yeah, because it's not bad enough. Let's kick you in the nuts.
Oh man. What else?
How about you? That's
I got nothing. I think everything else I've shown recently or on the other episode. There'll be some other stuff coming in the mail, I think, soon. But I want to talk about kind of what I've been working on, which is I'm not going to show it. Show it for a second. It's still my Mark's head contest, which will, by the time this comes out, is due. Everyone's are due. And I'm going to just show mine when the picture's done. But I used a lot of dirty down on it, the rust specifically. And I really like the way I kind of ended up using it on there. It turned out really well. So maybe I'll sneak a picture in of what I did do with it here. But I want to talk about something I just tried today, which
Now, now remember, you just got to 1,000, so you don't mess it up.
I know we might mess this up. So I taught a while ago. Now I don't know how many episodes ago with Scott. I talked about I got the can of Vallejo bronze green that I thought would be a good Godzilla color. It didn't. It turned out too green for me. So
Right.
I went and I took the Godzilla bust that I was going to use that on and repainted it with the charcoal green or charcoal gray from Ceramcoat, the Godzilla base color. I think it was Bill Jones that turned me onto it. So it's a big bust. So it's not like the wash is the next step. And I've been using this wash Bill Jones talked about for a while, which was like black and burnt, I think burnt umber oil paint, like mixed with thinner as your wash. And instead of having to mix that, I've been kind of looking for something that I could just buy out of the can that works. So I picked this up from the Army Painter, and it's called Quick Shade, and it's a dark tone. They make acrylic versions of it in dropper bottles for just simple washes and stuff. But this is oil based, and it comes in like a regular, like almost like a stain can. And I was hoping this would be my answer, and I'm not sure if it is yet. So when I read the directions, it says takes 24 to 48 hours to completely dry, like to cure. Fine. So I took one of my George Stevenson Blackheart Godzilla busts that I've been working on, and I've been wanting to do this one with the explosion light like coming up the side. So it's this. Does this work?
Gotcha.
Does this help? Yeah, it helps a little bit. So it's that.
Black, so just
I'll blow my face out with the light. But it's this Godzilla.
Yeah.
And so I had the gray tones on there that I want to do, not completely dry brush yet, but where my highlight's going to be. So I washed it or brushed all that stuff on. You can see in the shadow, you see how freaking glossy that is?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going away. And if that gloss goes away, I'll let everyone know next episode that gloss does, but I'm worried now that isn't, and I'll be dull coating the hell out of this thing. It is so sticky. Like, I don't even know. I've never used anything like this because a regular stain is not like that at all. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't when it's dry. So I don't know.
I mean, you can always, well, I mean, that's small, but you want to use it on the big thing. But
yeah, that's why, because I want to use it on that big stuff. So, and then if it stays like that and it goes away with some matte finish, fine, great. But
what's that matte stuff that you from Citadel that you told me to get that works?
The Lamia medium, yeah, throwing this on top of it.
Maybe if you just spray that on top, it might, because that stuff pretty much calls everything down.
But man, this is the glossiest stuff I've like. I was like, as soon as it went on, I'm like, okay, it's just wet. Like an hour later, I was like, wait,
how long did you paint that?
I did this 2 hours ago.
Well, I mean,
so it's still, it says 48. So, and I even had a hair dryer on it, and it's not changed at all.
Well,
so I will give everyone a quick shade update. I might just end up using the acrylic version they have, but that defeats the purpose of having a lot of it. Or just go back to making my own, which is what this jar is. It's just black.
Is it filled?
No.
So it's just
a little bit left in there. I'd have to make some new stuff.
Isn't that the fun of model kit building? Is all the wacky things we mix and match to try and find what, and then you do it, and it's like, oh, I should just have used the stuff right out of the bottle.
And it's usually like 73 hours later.
Yeah.
Which brings me to, like, since this kind of turned into, this is more of the Workbench show. So I'm working on my Mark's piece, and it's I've showed before. It's kind of like a round piece And so I wanted to put it on a round base. And I kept like the bases I kept putting on the printers were failing. I finally printed one in FDM and I got a really nice round base to put it on. But then I'm like, okay, I need a sign for it because that's part of my idea. There's going to be like a wooden signpost for it. And normally in the olden days, what would you have to do? You'd have to make a sign out of like foam core or balsa wood or something, like whatever. I'm like, I'll just try Thingiverse. Maybe there's a sign I can print. Sure as shit, there's a perfect sign. I printed it out. It's sitting over there. But then I'm like, my guilt kicks in. And I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. I feel like I didn't make it because normally I would have made that sign. Because in my brain all along, I'm like, okay, I got to make a sign. And now you can just print that stuff. And I'm like,
but how'd you get the legs?
Printed them.
Okay, so what's the difference? Who cares?
But that's part of the model kit. Like the diorama, you know, like when you want to, like for your diorama, you want to build
I don't do
things.
dioramas, so I don't care.
No, I feel like I'm cheating. And I don't know if I...
Why? It's still, you still had to build it and paint it and put it where you want, and it's your vision.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay.
It's
all right. Make me feel
contest. Better. You're having a little fun contest. You're giving yourself a freaking stroke over it.
Well, I'm not even in the contest. I'm just doing it to do it.
You're doing it for so that's even worse.
Yeah.
What do you care?
All right. You ready?
I'm ready, man. Are you ready? Is our audience ready? We just hit 1,000. I'm willing to bet we get down to 940 after this.
Evil Dead Rise. Let's talk about it. Evil Dead Rise. All right, preface it with this. A couple episodes ago, I had an Evil Dead Rise rant that I deleted. And we didn't put it in the episode. I have now watched it again when I was pulling pictures. And I'm going to say I didn't dislike it as much as I did the first time. I think it sat better with me as a second viewing.
Okay.
So we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to let you go.
Even though it's your pick?
Even though it's my pick. Because I feel like I already did my rant. But I'm going to...
But it's from what you
I'm going to re-rant but afterwards, but it's not as rantful. If that makes sense. All right. So, I mean, just the story is...
You do the plot thing and then I'll
do the plot thing. So it is sort of connected to Evil Dead. I read something somewhere that said it's connected because... So you have the regular Evil Dead timeline, which is the Ash stuff.
Right.
Then there was the remake a few years ago, like 10 years ago.
It was okay.
Which was okay. And then there was this one. And the person, or I forget where I even heard this. They're all connected because if you watch Army of Darkness, there's 3 Necronomicon books.
Right.
And they're saying that the remake was one of those books. The Ash timeline stuff was one of those, the other book. And then this is the other book. Which to me is bullshit. But whatever. Like,
and there goes the money.
Whatever. Whatever. And I think, okay. So it takes place in LA. Has none of the original cast at all from the Evil Dead anything. From any of the other previous movies, TV shows, nothing. So it's like a completely new, fresh start. Sort of. Other than the 3 books. And so they're in a high rise, kind of like your Ghostbustery, like that building was like, you know, that the original Ghostbusters building was built by a guy like trying to open a portal, you know, that sort of thing.
Right.
And that's kind of what this was. It was almost built as like a tomb for hiding this book, or their secret, these monks, priests, secret work area to work on the Necronomicon. So the building was kind of built on top of this, and then that was sealed up. There is your main character is Teresa, played by Mirabai Peace. And then she has a sister, Alyssa Sutherland, who lives in the building, and that is Ellie. Those are your main 2 your main 2 characters. And the sister's kind of like your ne'er-do-well, like always in trouble. Finds out she's pregnant goes to stay with her sister in LA. In this building, there's an earthquake. Some kids find the Necronomicon. Kid plays it. Hilarity ensues.
Hilarity ensues.
Which I'm being tongue in cheek because there's some funny parts, but it's not.
Yeah, I'll get.
It's not your Evil Dead hilarity. It is different.
I've used this word in the past. It's very earnest. It's very, yeah.
So that's the basic main plot of which is the basic plot of every Evil Dead. Those start. Did it feel like an Evil Dead movie to you?
It's funny you said that because I said after I watched it, I sat in my living room in my incredibly oversized couch, and I said to myself, if this wasn't an Evil Dead movie, I probably would have liked it better. Because it's a really good haunted house possession movie.
Yes.
It's not a good Evil Dead movie.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't hate the movie. I didn't hate it at all. But I was just like, I mean, aren't they? They're called Deadites, right? Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't say that at all. There's no reference to that. It's just, it's a really good possession film,
Yes. Yes. And
there's some great kills though.
Yes.
There's some really good kills. It's really violent. It's in a good way.
Over the top blood and gore. Like, this is, for people who love their gore, this is a gore movie. This is a gore movie. Gore fest. Goreatopia. Gorepalooza. That's what this is. Like, that, it's in there. It's, if you are in for the blood and guts, this is your movie. Like, because it's the movie.
You know what's crazy before we say it is, as I'm watching it, I'm going, wow, this is really gory. But after watching Terrifier and Terrifier 2, I'm like,
which I haven't seen. So now I got to do that.
Yeah.
I will say this, that my highest praise for this goes to Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie. She nails the creepiness of the possessed. She's your main possessed. Like, her little body movements and her timing on things is, I think, perfect and sells the character and what's going on beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, and she has a perfect face for it too. So people, if you don't know who we're talking about, I'll put her picture here. She was also in Vikings. She was in there for a little bit. She's been in other stuff, but man, she nails this. Like, I think it is so well done in terms of that. Like, and even the things she says, like, mommy's with the maggots now is like, just,
that was the line, dude.
It's so good. And there's other parts, just her voice when the fly's crawling on her eyeball and then she blinks. And then when she blinks and her eyes are open, looking a different direction, like that kind of stuff is like perfect. And that's what I loved about this movie is it looks great. Like, there's some parts that are just awesome to watch unfold. Go ahead. However, if you had something.
I was going to say, I thought that they kind of ripped off a lot of other horror films.
Go ahead. Which ones you think?
The Shining. I mean, the elevator with all the blood. I was like, I've seen this before. Fargo with the tree tripper, although they went a little more beyond what they did in Fargo.
Yes.
So there are scenes in it where the wood chipper, yeah. I'm just like, okay, I've seen that before.
And that's where, like, you get that. Wait, say that again.
There are things I haven't seen before, like the eyeball. That was phenomenal.
No, you did see that. Wait, the fly or the?
No, where she bit the guy's eye out and spit it.
See, that's one of my main problems. That happened in Evil Dead.
Did it? Which one?
Evil Dead 2 and 1. That's like one of those callbacks. The eyeball flies out of Henrietta's head and goes into the mouth.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So there you go. And that's my main. We'll get to my main. That's my main problem, I think, with some of it. But it straddles that fine line of homage or ripping it off to rip off. Like the elevator. As soon as you see that with the blood, everyone's going to think Shining, but it was a lot more blood.
Was it?
I don't know.
This, I don't
The
think
way
so.
they were in the elevator and then
Yeah, but they flooded the entire hotel.
that's true. It felt like more blood, but now that you mention it,
I mean, I don't know. It's look, it's bloody. Let's just say it's bloody, but they do have homages. I would hope they're homages to classic horror films. That, and they don't do it in a way that they're like making fun of it or whatever,
right.
but you just say that they're inspired by it, and there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest with you.
And this is where my problem comes in. As an Evil Dead movie, I don't know what the best way to do an Evil Dead movie is to continue with the regular Evil Dead stuff, not branch out and try these different. Like, if you're gonna set them in different places, they somehow got to have a direct line. I think, in terms of tone, which the tone is kind of there, but the comedy,
Yeah.
like the way Evil Dead started, I've seen Evil Dead 2, I don't know how many times. Like, it's one of my favorite movies. Still have my VHS copy. Like, love that movie. But there's a way, there's a timing and a way it's shot, and it's, Sam Raimi doing Sam Raimi. And I think this movie does a good job of trying to copy like Sam Raimi's style in parts.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is the peephole, because you're so limited as to what you see, and then horrible things happen off camera. Like kids die. Kids get murdered in this movie, which is rare.
A lot of kids. A lot of
and
kids.
as teachers, we love to see that happen. Like just when she's looking in the people from the outside and her face, the way she's just playing it, it's just, I loved her in this movie.
She reminded me of, as I was watching it, I was like, she could play the Joker in a Batman movie. She could. Like it was that good.
Don't give them ideas, because they're going to be gender swapping the Joker now. And it's part of my problem.
They've got Joaquin Phoenix, who did a fantastic job, I think. But yeah, the Joker, it's a Joker look, I think.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Big, wide mouth and I guess you would call it a demonic Joker. And she was phenomenal. She was great.
Yeah. In terms of, it's not what I wanted. And that what I want, did you watch the TV series?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I wanted them to continue that. And if they didn't do it, like if they wanted, like, hey, we're going to do this with a female lead. Why, in the spoilers for Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV show, Ash ends up in the future, and his daughter, like his daughter is still in the present, kind of fighting, taking on Ash's legacy. And why not do it with her? Like, and continue that. It might have been a licensing thing. It might have been something we don't know about. But that's what I would love to, because I think Ash versus Evil Dead captures Evil Dead perfectly. Like the comedy part of it, the horror part of it, the over the top stupidity of it, which has always been like the best thing about it.
But that being said, Bruce Campbell was in it. He's not going to do it anymore. He just feels like he's too old. I don't believe that. He's not doing it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe
he's
that.
not coming back, dude.
He was in this movie, though.
Where?
His voice is in the movie.
Is it? Is he the record player guy?
He's on the record that they play, and part of that.
Yeah.
But I don't even think you need, if he doesn't want to do it, I don't think you don't need Ash. Just keep him in the future and continue it with just his daughter.
Okay, and
make it,
the tone and all of that is because of Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. Those two together created that. Once you take one or both out of it, you can't replicate that. You can't.
It's hard. And you're right.
And like I said, that's why I think this movie, if you'd have just said Haunted High Rise, I mean, obviously that's not a good name, but you call,
write that down. We got to use that Haunted High Rise. We're making a movie.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Like, if you just take the Evil Dead out of it, I think it's more enjoyable.
Yeah, I do. Because I think you're using the Evil Dead part as a crutch in that point. If you're not going to go full Evil Dead, which they didn't, and then they say this they're called member berries, and I hate them. I hate them. It's, remember when Ash said this? We're going to have our character say that too. And it's like, And it's only fan service garbage. And fan service isn't a good script. It's not a good plot. It's not a good like whatever. It's annoying when for me, it takes me right out of the movie. Her saying, "Come get some," when she's standing on the, like, why even have her say that? Make her come up with her own new catchphrase. That would be that new. If you're going to replace Ash with this person, have her come up with her own catchphrase. Yeah. And why give her a chainsaw? Give her a brand new weapon, like something completely different, like a giant weed whacker. I don't know. Just like, don't give him Ash's weapon. It's just a callback, and it goes to the eyeball flying. Like, I don't need that. If just make it its own thing. If like Ghostbusters, the Afterlife one relied heavily on that, like saying the same things, like like Star Wars, like, oh, remember when this happened? We have that in our movie too. And it takes me out of the movie every time they do that in something instead of just letting it be its own thing. And I don't know.
I mean, I get the fan service piece of it though. They want Evil Dead fans to come see it. You know, they want that. You've got a built-in fan base. But again, if you're going to create, I mean, is there going to be more after this? Because she walks off with the one daughter. Everyone else dies. There's two people who live. She walks off, and then it's bookended with a scene at a cabin, which is not the cabin, but at a cabin.
A cabin, yeah.
And it ends back at that cabin.
Right.
So it's like you've got
like most of the movie's a flashback. It basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that scene at the cabin in the beginning when that girl comes out of the water and levitates. It's awesome.
That's great.
Fucking great. Like, really cool.
Scalper.
Yep.
Oh,
you knew you were in right at the beginning. Like, all right, this is gonna be pretty good. Pretty gory.
And like I said, the special effects are fantastic in this. I think that there's a lot of practical effects. I might be wrong, but I think
there's a lot of really good practical and digital effects in there. But to what you were saying, I get that. But when it's so obvious and it's overt, it ruins a movie for me every time. And I know that like that's to say, hey, we're gonna reward our fans for coming to see this. But if you're making an Evil Dead movie, people are gonna be there. You don't have to put groovy in there. Like if Ash isn't in there, the new character doesn't have to say groovy or give me some sugar, like
right
or whatever. It's
again that doesn't work because it's not Ash. I mean,
that's my point. Like it doesn't.
I know, but it's Bruce Campbell. The reason that works is because of how he says it.
Yeah,
you can't imitate it. There's no. So that's what I'm saying. Like if they just made this this was a great horror film.
Yeah,
not a good Evil Dead film.
Yeah, we're in complete agreement. Favorite parts of the movie? What like? Do you have anything?
It's funny you said the people. I thought that the creature, the creature at the end, the body horror stuff that they did with like the 8 legs and stuff, that was really good. That was really good.
It was. They had they had the 3 main characters who became Deadites end up mushed into one thing and kind of crawling around doing weird shit. Yeah, that was cool. I liked that.
Yeah.
Even her head talking at the end, they did it like great effects there too.
Yeah.
Like, and the shit that head said was awesome. I think people need to see it. I think it's worth seeing. And
it's not really long. I want to say it's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's around there. It's a nice time. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
And I think it's on
my initial rant. I'm gonna.
I want to hear you. Are you gonna?
I am gonna do it. I don't like that they made the son and daughter of Ellie. They made the son look like a girl and they made the daughter look like a boy. It bugs the shit out of me. And it was almost because they just want to say, hey, we're doing that too. Without saying it. And they just stick it in there and they're like, here, we're going to be progressive. And once I noticed it, I was like, this is dumb. It just bugged the shit out of me. And I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I feel like they did it on purpose. And it just, and the son didn't do son things. Like if I saw my mom, like I think I would have fought harder for my mom than he did. It just didn't feel like, I think as a son, you would step up and regardless of like the horrible things that are going on, it felt like they pushed the boy down, elevated other people, and even the other men in the movie, I felt like they just minimized and killed them all. And
Well,
like right off the bat.
yeah, but
Which
those
goes
guys
to
are,
your final girl thing, which you could.
but it's also their minor characters as well. Those guys are just their neighbors. They're people who show up to help and do stuff and whatever. So them, yeah. But the son and the daughter thing, I get what I do understand what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But that's the world we live in.
Is
I
it?
mean, I'm not,
Is it?
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's the world we live in where, it's funny because, um, off topic a little bit, I was talking to my wife and there's commercials. Like I can't even watch commercials anymore because every time there's a commercial now, the guy is a buffoon.
every time.
And,
Every
I
time.
can't, and she's like, no, no. I'm like, just watch and say, okay, what's going to happen with this husband? Anybody who, oh, you said to get a pro, so he gets a pro tennis player to knock a beehive down. I mean, come on. So, I mean, we're
I'm glad
men,
you noticed those things.
yeah, men have become an easy target as far as to be the buffoon thing and the goofball. But it's kind of annoying for when there are people like us who are educated and intelligent, and I'm not walking around like with my a rubber arrow. Hey guys, I mean, it's insulting in a lot of ways, but it is the world we live in now. They don't care about our perspective. So
And oh man, we might get demonetized after that. So I agree with everything you said because once you notice that every man in a commercial is an idiot, especially if you're a certain kind of man, they always it's always the wife is the smart one making everybody doing the right thing. Like I figured all out all the problems. You were just a dummy. It's once you notice that, it's hard to unsee it in anything. And it happens quite a bit these days. And you're right. It's the world we live in. I'm not happy about it. I'm like, it bugs me, especially when it's series that I love, like Evil Dead, because it always has been slightly misogynistic because it's Ash. He's always trying to get laid, be the hunky dude. And
but
I want a
that's
hero.
still there. But that's still there. You can still go back and watch
I can, but
Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash versus Evil Dead. You can still watch and still enjoy it. You don't
I
have just
can
don't.
because I know it's there. But
Yeah,
kids coming up these days, like they don't know unless someone shows them, and what they're giving that to them, they have to go and search for that stuff if they're not a kid. And I think my general thing, what I'm trying to say is this: I want more. I don't want to see boys or men made to look stupid anymore. I get it.
yeah,
I get why it's happening, but
yeah.
it's old.
Because the kids coming up, I know, like I know what my sense of you know what my sense of
Oh
humor
yeah,
is. It's way on the dark side. It's things that people they don't find funny. And it's
yeah.
like, well, it's not for you, it's for me. But um kids, who are the male role models out there now? I don't, if I were to go into class and be toxic male, if that
Yeah.
guy, "Oh, men, I'd be in trouble. you know
Yeah.
uh I don't
And
know.
there's a
I
difference between there's the toxic stuff and there's just being a man. Like
Right,
doing man's
right,
like
right.
here's a hammer, use it. Like
Now
here's
listen,
go do like make something like that whole I'm here to protect you. There's nothing wrong with that. Like there's
that's
nothing wrong with that.
that's all the stuff my wife does, the hammer and all
I know. Brian was he had to cut his own grass for the first time this
that.
week.
But yeah, I mean,
And this is
there's
way
been a
off topic,
societal
but
shift. There has been a societal shift, and I think in any other movie, you maybe wouldn't have noticed it as much. You would have noticed it, but you wouldn't be as upset, only because you're such a fan of the Evil Dead.
yeah.
I like Evil Dead. I've watched Evil Dead, not as much as you. I forgot about the. I mean, it's just, um, I like if it's on, I won't turn it off. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Oh, think I'm gonna watch this today. So I went in because of your previous hour and a half rant with that in the back of my head, and I saw what you were saying though. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's there.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I recommend the movie. I'll give my grade here in a minute, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't.
Before you do,
I just don't think it's, like
before
you
you,
said, a good Evil Dead movie.
before you, we talked about. I sent you a text. I was like, we haven't in the past few episodes model kit. What
Yep.
model kit
Yep.
is there? A model kit that you would make?
Is
I
there?
knew right away what I would do.
So yeah, we have forgot the last. Let's go back to Piggy for a second. There's no model kit I want from Piggy, and I think that's why we kind of forgot about it, because it was so depressing to watch that. That
Sitting there making a kid just crying.
yeah, we're gonna make this fat girl, which will just make another, like, us making fun of, like,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
we kind of yeah. So kit worthy. I right off the bat, Ellie. I think you have to have something. And there's a couple out. I've seen one out there. I don't think the likeness is spot on, but her above the bathtub, like spread out, like just kind of stuck to the ceiling above the bathtub, just screaming down. I think that's a great one. It's kind of hard to do because you would have to add so much more stuff. But Vengeance Studios has been doing those big backdrop
Yeah,
kind of things with printing. I think
good.
just her pose when she's looking in the the peephole, where she's kind of like with her hands straight down and kind of with her head cocked and looking forward. I think that would make a great kit. I
I
don't.
think the body monster at the end,
Yes. Yep.
that would be cool. And that's something like it's almost like something out of the thing in a lot of
Oh,
ways, you know.
yes. Yeah, for sure.
But when the peephole thing, that was the other one that I right off the bat I was watching this. I was like, you know what would be cool to do? You get like a bust and you make a shadow box of it with her right there and the hallway behind it. How freaking
Yeah, that
awesome!
would be cool. That's a good
That
idea.
would be awesome.
That would be a
But
really cool idea.
you got to like look into it to see. And a few years ago, the IPMS had the um, convention in Columbus, and they had a bunch of shadow box kits there, like point of view of like World War II planes attacking stuff and whatever. And I was like, that would make an awesome shadow box.
So that is a great idea. I kind of want to do that now. And I'm thinking about what you're talking about, for people who haven't seen these things, at a lot of the historical miniatures and figure shows, they're like on the wall, or it's an actual box, and you have to look specifically through one little hole. And then like the diorama is built in layers so that it kind of like plays out that way. And I think, yeah, that would be real. That's a great idea to do it that way.
You know, the closest thing that I've seen lately would be there was that I don't know if you saw it. There was a King Kong kind of I wish I could remember who did it, but he painted glass to make it give it depth with a King Kong figure at Wonderfest.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
see
Yeah. 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 I know what you're talking about.
glass? I can't remember who, and because he just did a how to in I think he did it in the AFM, the last AFM. I
Yes.
think there was the thing,
Yeah.
but then seeing it in person at Wonderfest was awesome, and it tricks your eye. Now his wasn't a peephole type, but it was just the using glass, painted glass to
I wonder
create
if you
that.
could take an actual peephole
I mean,
and like
make
build a box so that you looked at it and
make a
then just
little
put the figure up close enough to where you just see this much of. I'm
and
going to
have it
try
like
that.
be a little door,
Yeah.
be like a little. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
With the
awesome.
apartment that, yeah. Oh man, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, yeah,
As far as kids, like, so this is what bugs me about the whole thing then is, normally if you're like, I'm going to make an Evil Dead figure, it's Ash doing Ash
yeah.
stuff, right? This, you have Teresa, the main character. Do you really want a model kit of her? No, because there's not, like, she does nothing. Like, yeah, she fights and does, but there's no like,
For lack of a better way of putting it, and this isn't meant to be like putting down. She's just a woman. You know what I mean? She's just a
just
everyday average woman. She's
very
not.
vanilla, just a vanilla. Like,
Yeah,
I just fought my way out of this. It's not.
yeah. I'm covered
There's
in
nothing
blood.
memorable about it,
Yeah,
and that's, I think, where I falter in. So, all right, grade time. You ready?
yeah. You go first, buddy.
C plus as an Evil Dead movie, B as a possession movie. Like it's right there. Like C plus, I think Evil Dead.
I came in at C minus, just overall
Okay.
C
Well,
minus.
we're rarely close
Again,
again.
I didn't hate it. I just
Yeah. Just
there wasn't anything like, I don't know. I
there
mean,
was one really cool callback to another horror movie that we didn't mention, which is Zombie with the splinter. Have you ever seen Zombie? Fulci
everyone's
Zombie. So there's
I
that
need
part
to
where
see.
this girl's face, the zombie breaks through a door and pulls this girl through all the splintered wood. And there's a wood
Okay.
splinter that goes like right in her eyeball. And the part where that needle, the tattoo needle, is right in that girl's eye, I was like, man, that like really good. Really good stuff.
Did speaking of, I don't like eye stuff, and I think eye stuff in general is a good way to get people to. Did you see Brightburn?
No, not yet.
Okay, watch Brightburn.
Okay.
It's
It's on my
like
it's on my
if
list.
if Superman was an a-hole,
Yeah, yep.
yeah, when he was
I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
I mean,
right. Your grade we got them up on this grade. So what's your pick for the next movie?
well, I was gonna originally go with Infinity Pool, but I was like, you know what? I just did that Maya Goth one with she's Maya Goth. She's the girl, one of the girls in she's in Pearl. She
Mm-hmm.
plays in Pearl. She's in X, and she was also in Last Night in Soho. So I was like, okay, we got to break away from that. I think you have Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go with The Pale Blue Eye.
What did I just see
Christian,
about that? All right, the pale
Christian
blue eye. That
Bale.
okay.
And all I'll tell you is it's loosely based. We're going to the literary side, loosely based on Edgar Allan Poe. So there we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Going class.
The pale blue eye. All right. We'll see you next time, everybody, on A Model in a Movie. Thank you, Brian,
We'll
for
be down to five members, five subscribers.
for suffering through my misogyny or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't jump out of the water. It splashed me too. So
All right. We'll see everybody next time. Take care.
okay.